Hello everyone, and welcome to my UK Royal Message channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. In the seating arrangement for the coronation, Prince Andrew and Harry will be relegated to the third row. Despite being ninth in line to the throne and a previous senior member of the firm, Prince Andrew will have no ceremonial part during the coronation of his brother King Charles. During the ceremony at Westminster Abbey today, it's possible that the Duke of York may find up seated in the third row. The formal seating arrangement for the historic coronation has been the subject of much speculation, and it won't be clear where everyone will be seated until the ceremony has begun. Prince Harry, who will reportedly sit between Princess Eugenie's husband, Jack Brooksbank, and Princess Alexandra, a distant relative of the late Queen, would reportedly be banished to the third row. Some royal watchers think Andrew may have been seated distant from the essential members of the firm since his daughters are likewise seated in the third row, and because the Dukes of York and Sussex had a similar rank within the firm. The Prince and Princess of Wales and other senior working members of the firm are given priority seating in the first row. According to an individual who spoke to The Sun, there were discussions that the seating could be arranged on line of succession. A similar action would have made Prince Harry, who is fifth in line for the throne, the center of attention. The source continued, instead, it was decided to start with the royals and work backward from there. Harry's father will be a long way away. Following the announcement that neither Harry nor Andrew will play an official role in the coronation, Buckingham Palace confirmed as much. The two guys won't be in the coronation procession that follows the gold state coach that transports the King and Queen from Westminster Abbey back to Buckingham Palace following the ceremony. Midway through November 2019, the Duke of York withdrew from public engagements following his disastrous Newsnight interview that centered on his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. Since then, the prince hasn't participated in any formal events, and in January of last year, he gave back his royal and military patronages to the late Queen, a decision that many believed put an end to his future as a senior royal. Despite his new position as a minor royal within the firm, Andrew is still very much a member of the royal family, according to Queen Elizabeth II and King Charles. The Duke attended the customary service on Christmas Day along with the King and numerous other members of the royal family. He also took part in the walkabout that followed. Similar to this, on Easter Sunday, the Duke of York walked from Windsor Castle to St. George's Chapel to attend the early service. Andrew went behind Queen Camilla and King Charles, close to his sister Princess Anne, demonstrating that he is still an important member of his family. The Duke attended a family dinner in London on Friday with his daughters, the Tyndalls, and other royals in advance of the coronation. The upscale Mayfair Club Oswald served dinner to the royals. Despite controversy, Prince Andrew maintains his honor roll during the coronation. In his official order of the Garter Robes, Prince Andrew came at Westminster Abbey for the coronation of his older brother, King Charles II. The Duke of York is dressed in a ceremonial gown, defying earlier rumors that claimed the disgraced royal may not be permitted to do so. The late Queen Elizabeth II forbade Andrew from donning the same robes at her final Garter Day at Windsor Castle. The Duke followed the rest of the royal family to Westminster Abbey and sat in the third row of the lantern section. Along with his sister Princess Anne and his nephew Prince Harry, who was dressed for the occasion in a suit, he entered the chapel. The Duke of York has previously donned ornate regalia, including a blue velvet mantle with white taffeta lining, a dark red velvet hood and surcoat, a Tudor bonnet with a plume of white and black feathers, a pure gold collar made up of 13 heraldic knots alternated with 13 enameled medallions, and of course a garter to signify his position as a Knight of the Garter. But it was hotly contested whether or not the Duke would be permitted to put on the ceremonial robes, given his disgraced royal position. Now that Andrew has worn his Garter robes to the coronation of King Charles IV and Queen Camilla, the big decision has been taken. Interesting to see Prince Andrew in his garter robes, 2 weeks after Buckingham Palace told Daily Mirror that he would not, tweeted Russell Myers, the host of the podcast Pod Save the King. A significant move on the King's part, given that the late Queen forbade the Duke of York from donning them for her final garter day at Windsor Castle. The coronation has been designated a collar day, which means that members of the Order of the Garter will wear attire that corresponds to the knighthoods they have earned. The Duke of York was claimed to have been left completely in the dark about his job and needed apparel for the crowning event, according to earlier sources, which suggested that King Charles was unsure of his younger brother's costume. He would have worn the same as other non-royal Order of Garter members, according to Gertrude Daly, better known on Twitter as Gert's Royals, who told Express.co.uk that he would not have received any special consideration. She was unaware of the king's acceptance of the ceremonial garments, which was unexpected. She clarified that collar days only refer to times when members are permitted to wear their gold neck chain or collar. She referred to the Trooping the Colour parade from the previous year, stating that it coincided with the anniversary of Queen Elizabeth's coronation. We only observed the royals wearing their collars on that particular occasion. Nobody else did. Therefore, not all of the royals who are entitled to wear an order's collar will do so just because it is a collar day. Collars are often only used with uniforms or white tie attire. But she acknowledged that the coronation is extra special, therefore perhaps special exceptions were granted. 4 Order of Garter Knights carried the gold canopy over Queen Elizabeth II at her coronation.
Prior to that,
while Knights had a similar role at coronations. In contrast to her predecessors, Queen Elizabeth did not name any new knights to the Order of the Garter to commemorate her coronation, as Ms. Daly noted. King Charles will also be anointed privately, according to Buckingham Palace. However, during the sacred procedure, the king will be entirely concealed by a specially made screen, rather than a gold canopy. Ms. Daly used recent royal events as a model when discussing Prince Andrew, claiming that the Duke was likely instructed to follow the same dress code as non-royals, and wouldn't have received any special considerations. The reason Prince Harry and Prince Andrew didn't wear uniforms at the funerals of Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth II, she explained, wasn't because the palace wanted to take away that honor, but rather because only those who are actively serving, which includes those holding an honorary military appointment, are allowed to wear the uniform. Former members of the armed forces wear suits with medals, she continued. Harry and Andrew received the same treatment as everyone else and received no extra treatment. I anticipate that the coronation will follow the same rule. Following rumors that Andrew was furious that his brother King Charles could forbid him from donning ceremonial robes for the coronation, she made her remarks. The Duke, contrary to other members of the royal family, was left completely in the dark about the dress code for the upcoming event, a source told the Mirror. Andrew is enraged. He's already not acting a part, and now he feels disrespected and is being told what to do about something he has every right to wear, the insider claimed. In 2019, Andrew withdrew from his role as a royal due to criticism regarding his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Later, as a result of a sexual assault accusation brought by Virginia Roberts Gifford in January 2022, he lost his royal and military honors. Ms. Gifford has long said that pedophile sex trafficker Epstein forced her to have 3 sexual encounters with the monarch beginning in 2001 when she was only 17 years old. According to Andrew's legal representatives, he unequivocally denies Gifford's false allegations against him. His attorneys claim that last February's out-of-court settlement, for an unknown sum, does not constitute an admission of guilt. Considering the controversy surrounding the Duke, Ms. Daly stated, I think the UK government would have a hard time saying Prince Andrew can't wear an honor. He has never been charged, let alone convicted, of a crime. Normally, honors are only ever removed following a conviction for a major crime. The invitation to Sarah Ferguson's coronation would have turned Andrew's ex-wife into a talking point. A royal author has provided analysis on the decision to leave Sarah Ferguson off the list of guests for the coronation, recalling how another royal unintentionally soured a significant celebration more than 4 decades ago. One person who didn't receive an invitation to King Charles' coronation is the Duchess of York. Sarah revealed the information to the public, and a few weeks later, she appeared on television to say she now understood why she had been left out of the 2,200-person crowd. Ian Lloyd, the author of the recently published book The Throne, said that Sarah's attendance at the service on Saturday ran the risk of detracting attention from the main event and its participants. The royal analyst said to Express.co.uk, "Sarah Ferguson is an omission from the guest list. But I think that's because Charles and his advisors are aware that if she were present, she would be one of the talking points afterwards." Since her breakup with Prince Andrew in 1992, which resulted in a divorce 4 years later, the Duchess of York, popularly known as Fergie by friends and admirers, has only gone to a small number of official royal functions. She most recently attended Queen Elizabeth's funeral, her former mother-in-law, along with hundreds of others. Looking back on previous significant royal festivities, Mr. Lloyd recalled how the presence of one royal occasionally overshadowed other royal gatherings. "I recall how one of the photographs in the papers was of him coming out quietly through the side door of St. Paul's Cathedral the day after the Queen's Silver Jubilee service in 1977, celebrated after Princess Margaret had separated from her husband Lord Snowdon," the author said. According to Mr. Lloyd, the media concentrated on Lord Snowdon's lone appearance and how it stood in sharp contrast to the festive occasion honoring Elizabeth's 25th year as monarch. Therefore, he concluded, on the day of the coronation, they will likely want to avoid problems like that. Fergie implied that she is aware that she is unable to participate in some gatherings since she was Prince Andrew's first wife. She appeared on Good Morning Britain and stated, "I don't think you can have it both ways since it's a state occasion and being divorced. It's crucial to note that I am divorced from my ex-husband, but I actually enjoy being divorced from him. That's a beautiful experience to be a part of," she continued. "You can't have it both ways, as I already said. You cannot remain neutral. You can only be accepted or rejected. Don't dally." Sarah has stated she will still participate in the coronation celebrations and will go to the concert at Windsor Castle on May 7, despite not being invited to the service on May 6. Mr. Lloyd saw Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, another member of the extended royal family who, had she attended, might have unintentionally stolen the show from the main event. "I'm sure they're happy that Meghan isn't there because it would be a big talking point. What she was wearing, but also whether or not she looked at Kate, and so on. They wouldn't want the coronation to be overshadowed, I believe, because he's shown during both the late Queen and Prince Philip's funerals that he can carry out the part that he's expected to carry out. He won't seek any attention." The author thinks the Duke of Sussex is less of a problem for organizers. While Meghan will stay in California with her children Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, Prince Harry will travel to the historic ceremony. As he already confirmed last month, the Duchess will probably celebrate her son's 4th birthday on the day King Charles is crowned at Westminster Abbey.